This is our first conversation today around the marketplace for this Xmas holiday. We got by half with Wednesday and Thursday of the radar here and around the world. Juliana Lalayinka, my colleague from our London studios, is ready here. She's taking 1 or 2 days off during the week as the London market will be closed for the Christmas and Boxing Day. Juliana, good morning. Welcome.
Welcome, Bosun. Thank you. How are you?
Great, I'm good. So let's have this conversation very quickly before we let you go. Let's start with Whirlpool. These companies having consumer crisis now. It looks like the parliament is waning. What do they want Whirlpool to do for consumers here?
Well, it's a consumer crisis, you're right. One MP has actually even called it the worst consumer crisis we've seen in modern times. Whirlpool are an American multinational company and they produce white goods, so fridges, washing machines, etc. And just over a week ago, they announced that they were recalling over 500,000 British washing machines. And this affects the Whirlpool brand, not the Whirlpool brand, the Indesit brand and Hotpoint. They're very popular washing machines in the UK, and that's because there's been a fault in the door system, and they've linked this fault in the door system to over 70 fires since 2014. So they've had to recall this. Of course, worried customers were trying as much as they could to get on the website, speak to Whirlpool to find out just exactly whether or not it affects their machines. They couldn't get through to them. This has led to a cross-party group of MPs saying that, you know, this is an absolute travesty just before Christmas for this to happen to customers, and for customers not to be able to get in touch with Whirlpool, that they want customers to receive a full refund and a full explanation and apology. Of course, Whirlpool say that they won't be issuing a refund, that their main priority is to make sure that they can get these machines taken out of people's homes, which they're going to start doing at the beginning of January. But it's a big scandal, and this isn't the first time that this has happened to Whirlpool. They've also had issues a few years ago in the UK with some of their tumble dryers, but 500,000 washing machines being recalled is a lot of people, especially considering it goes back to 2014. So MPs here are not happy, and they're really cracking down on the American manufacturer.
Great story there to see how the parliament or legislature or MPs are getting on the side of the consumers as quick as possible and asking for direct answers and consequences from this company. Talk about Tesco very quickly. We have a little time on our hand this morning. Why is this UK company stopping production at a Chinese factory? Do you have any details?
Yes, really embarrassing. This has happened before, but, you know, Tesco, the biggest retailer in the UK, third biggest grocer in the world, over the weekend, the Sunday Times actually reported that a 6-year-old girl who had bought some cards for her schoolmates, opened one of the Christmas cards, a charity Christmas card, which is very popular in the UK. And it had a message in there, a message written in English from a prison camp in Shanghai, basically saying that, you know, please contact an individual because, you know, we're being kept against our human rights. We're being forced to do this. An absolute scandal in the highest form, particularly because, you know, these charity cards raised so much money for Tesco. Tesco said, you know, that they're stopping the production of these cards pending an investigation, but pretty embarrassing, and just goes to show, you know, where the UK are getting their products from, whether people are on the gravy train, as they like to say. But they're not the first retailer to go through this. We have seen this before, but yes, not good at all for Tesco.
Well, not good at all for Tesco. Thank you so much. I'm sure Chimezie Obiwagu at 1:30 will be asking you for the market cutting raise and intraday today. Thank you so much, Juliana. It's our Xmas trading week. You're going to have all that in the afternoon with Chimezie Obiwagu on our afternoon show. So let's get a sense of how we can rejig or rebalance the Nigerian stock market. Let's talk to Rotimi Fakaijo, who is a capital market analyst and taking a few minutes of our time to discuss this. Rotimi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, nice to have you on the show this morning. How do you think we can, what are your thoughts on how we can rebalance the stock market moving into the new year if you use the consumer goods segment as a guide?
The major listings, the major companies in the consumer goods, which are Nestle, Nigerian breweries, Guinness, and international breweries. I think for them, there's been a gradual upward movement for Nigerian breweries, for instance, and also Guinness. We saw Guinness coming all the way down to 25 or thereabouts, and now back at about 32. Likewise, we saw Nigerian breweries at the time lower than 50, and now is above that as well. And same thing goes for Nestle Nigeria PLC. So I believe that there could still be some value addition to the OSHA index and market capitalization coming from the consumer goods sector as we approach the end of the year and into the new year. And I believe strongly that we may be seeing better performances for the consumer goods because of the prevailing situation with respect to the closure of the borders. I think Nigerians will begin to get more use to some of the products listed in under that sector, and I think definitely is going to impact positively on them.
If you look at the market, a quick one, Rotimi, over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen more delistings when companies, some of them voluntarily, most of the time voluntarily delist from the stock market, and much fewer listings. How do you think we can get more companies to be listed on the exchange and perhaps prevent this raft of delistings? We've seen a few this year as well, isn't it?
Well, I think we need to look at the guidelines or the listing requirements for companies to get listed on the exchange. Because to me, I believe those policies are very loose, and I think they need to be tightened up. We've seen Nigerian Bottling Company and 7-Up Bottling Company leaving the Nigerian boards. And I think, to me, it's not a healthy thing to do. Because comparative to what is happening on Ghana Stock Exchange, Coca-Cola as a company is still very much listed on that exchange. So it's not a global initiative for them to to delist from African stock exchanges. So I think there's a little tightening up that the SEC, in collaboration with the NSC, to actually do with respect to holding back major listings as we have in those companies. And at the same time, I think there needs to be more collaboration with the CBN and also the Bank of Industry with respect to the funding they are giving to various companies in order for them to get attracted to listing on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So I think all this will be achieved if there is that collaboration with BOI and also CBN, so that many of the companies that they are funding, they can actually put the proviso that 3 years down the line, instead of coming back to us for funding, why don't you approach the stock exchange, the Nigerian stock market? And I think that will be a whole lot of encouragement to get more quality listings on the exchange.
Rotimi Fakaijo, thank you so much. We'll continue this conversation in the days ahead. Thank you so much, capital market analyst. Let's get the opening call today on the debt side of the market. Bosun Obembe is joining us from FMDQ Securities Exchange in downtown Lagos. Bosun, thank you so much. As an FX dealer, but again, at Access Bank, give us your view as we start the trading week, which is already caught by the Christmas and the Boxing Day holiday.
Good morning, Bossing. So on FX, so what we've seen currently is we've seen some December effect play into the market. Everybody is trying to clear their obligations, so rate is trending up to 360, 365 level. So last week, what we saw a depreciation across all the windows. So I&E window, we saw a 57 kobo depreciation week on week. Turnover as well decreased by $380 million. So this week we expect it to still be at 364 levels. So for the debt market, this week CBN is expected to conduct the last OMO auction for the year. So we have about 907 billion maturity. So given this maturity, we expect CBN to actually come in to mop up this excess liquidity. Rate is still expected to be at the same level at 13.28 of the curve. So we expect rate to, in terms of liquidity too. So currently we take OBB and overnight is at sub 2 levels. So we expect it to be at the same level. Though next week we expect a reversal, given that CBN will actually come into the market to debit banks that didn't meet the 65% LDR benchmark.
But thank you so much for raising the curtain on the debt market for us for this week with the Christmas holiday somewhere in the middle. Thank you so much, FX dealer at Access Bank. And that's all for today on the show. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.